This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Only about 1 in 5,000 in the United States live to be 100. And since this is such a small number of us, is anything about their lives relevant to the rest of us, to most people? Running a Fever, episode 160, Living to be 100 years old. Welcome to Running a Fever, life lovers. My name is Michael Davis. Love my life enough to make it last as long as possible. Do you? Well, if you do, you need to subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube. Add this to your favorites and your favorite podcast catcher, because that's what we're all about here. Loving life and living long. And speaking of long living, obviously it's a major theme for the show. And so I've decided to do a series on centenarians and see what we can learn from the people who have lived the longest. It's a beautiful day out here on Lake Fayetteville. It's pretty hot. It's 80 plus degrees out here probably. Spring is in full force. Bad thing is you can't see as much. The good thing is there's a little more shade on the path for the hot sun that we're gonna have to walk in. Everything's mowed, everything's green, even a snake. I got a picture of a snake this time. Should be the featured photo right now. And I just wanted to get out and get some exercise today and be more active, because I am trying to cut a few pounds right now. But I'm doing my workouts, doing my strength workouts in the morning and doing racquetball once a week. I still need to come out here and put some miles on my shoes. Howdy. So specifically what I'm going to focus on here is people who have lived the longest. I'm talking about the longest of the longest livers. And we're talking about people who are documented proof, basically people who can make it into the Guinness Book of World Records. Not all of them have, because of when the documentation was presented or whether they were the oldest person alive at one point. That's usually what gets you in there. But obviously it's changing all the time, because people die, and people who may not be known already will come out with documentation, and whoever thought they were the oldest people now are no longer the oldest people. So there's a lot of that going on all the time. I want to see if we can impact our longevity by studying the lives of these people. These centenarians, they're called, or super centenarians, sometimes called. I don't know what you call it, because all these people are over 110 years old. So usually say octogenarian, I guess it's a septuagenarian, and no, that's 7. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, centenarians are generally people over 100, sometimes called super centenarians. So in this episode, I'm going to give you the list. And first I want to ask a couple of questions, because this isn't just about spewing information. We've got some things that we want to learn and some important sort of critical questions we want to ask about this process. Number one, what was the quality of life of these people? And I think this is going to bear out pretty much, but my contention is that activity, and this has come up in studies that I've talked about, activity is one of those things that helps you to continue to live longer and keeps your mind healthier and your body healthier. Just being active keeps you stronger. So I'm probably going to say that none of these people were probably bedridden for the last 20 years of their lives. I'm just making that prediction. I don't know for sure, but that's probably what I'm going to say. But what was the quality of their life we want to see during those extra years? If you, average lifespan of a woman born in 1919, at that time anyway, was 58. And for someone my age, maybe 68. Well, what was life like after they reached that average age in the final years? Secondly, living to be over 100 is still very rare. Some estimates are saying that children born today have a 33% chance of living to 100. That's children born this year, 2019. But for someone born in 1919, that actual survival rate is a lot less. According to Dan Buettner in a TED Talk from 2013, only about 1 in 5,000 in the United States live to be 100. And since this is such a small number of us, is anything about their lives relevant to the rest of us, to most people? Or is it just luck, genetics? Buettner would say it's definitely not all genetics, but there's some in there. So these are just some questions that we want to keep in mind as we go through the list and sort of challenge what we're hearing to make sure that we're not just throwing that out and saying, well, this person smoked a pipe for 50 years, so I should smoke a pipe, whatever, Let's keep those things in mind, kind of keep ourselves on track. So here we go. 10 longest lived people as of today, and none of these people are currently living. Number 10 on the list of people with the highest verified age, Maria Capovilla, Ecuadorian, who lived from 1889 to 2006, a total of 116 years, 347 days. Number 9, Misao Okawa of Japan, lived from 1898 to 2015, 117 years, 27 days. Chiyo Miyako, also Japanese, 1901 to 2018, total age 117 years, 81 days. Number 7, Emma Murano of Italy, 1899 to 2017, 117 years, 137 days. Number 6, Violet Brown from Jamaica, lived 1900 to 2017, 117 years, 189 days. Number 5, Marie-Louise Milieu, Canadian, lived from 1880 to 1998, 117 years, 230 days. Number 4, Lucy Hanna, United States, 1875 to 1993, 117 years, 248 days. Getting down to the big winners now. Number 3, Nabi Tajima, Japan. Kind of windy here. Nabi Tajima, Japan, 1900 to 2018, 117 years, 260 days. Number 3 on our list. Number 2, American, Sarah Naus, United States, 1880 to 1999, 119 years, 97 days. And number 1, Jeanne Calment, France, 1875 to 1997, 122 years, 164 days. Holds the world record for living the longest. So, I don't know if you couldn't necessarily tell from all the names, but depending on where you're from or how much you know about various cultures, but all of these are women. The man who lived the longest was Jiroimon Kimura, who lived 116 years, 54 days. The average woman can still expect to live as much as 5 years longer than the average man. I'm only looking to make it to 120, folks, and that's already been done, so no problem, right? Hopefully. Look forward to more episodes, and we're going to look into sort of some of these individually, deeper into their lives, and find out, what they lived like, and of course, what their quality of life was toward the end. And, when these people are interviewed, they always ask them, what's the secret to long life? So we're going to get that answer probably for every single one of them. So these are amazingly long-lived people, and that's amazing in itself, even if the individual days of those lives might not have seemed as amazing. It's a big deal to live that long. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about these people. Hope you are too. It's a nice sunny day, a few clouds in the sky, but I'm enjoying getting out and getting some air and getting some exercise on a Tuesday afternoon. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you got the fever, keep it, and if you don't have it, catch the fever. Running a fever, and I'll talk to you next time.